Welcome to Library Connection. I'm Mandy Cantrell from the B.B. Comer Memorial Library here in Sylacauga. Before I get started, I want to thank Chris and everyone here at the TV station for allowing us to put on our program and all the help they give us with that. Today I'm joined by Kaitlyn Walker. She's a magical vacation planner. That just sounds fun, doesn't it? We're going to talk about travel, around town, around the state, around the country, maybe around the world. That's something at spring break right now when we're taping this. So, and people are thinking about their plans for the summer and maybe plans for the fall. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you, Kaitlyn, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Great. You come into the library with your daughter to get books, and one day I said, "Hey, you think we could talk about travel on TV?" Because you were really excited. You're really excited about the things you do.
I am. I enjoy helping people, explore the world.
Oh, that's great. Well, before we get started on that, tell us about yourself. You've lived in Sylacauga for a long time.
I have. I've lived here since I was 7. My husband is from here. I have an 11-year-old daughter, and she goes to Veritas Classical Christian School. And then I coach gymnastics also with Kid Gym Gymnastics.
Good.
So, and I also teach at Veritas Classical Christian School. So.
And you're a travel agent.
And
so
I'm an agent or an travel advisor with Magical Vacation Planner.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, that is exciting. Magical Vacation Planner, that just sounds fun. I know you enjoy it.
And it's more than just the most magical place on earth, Disney. It's everywhere around the world.
All right. Well, I'm trying to think how to start with travel. There's so many things to ask. Where do most of your clients travel? Is it mostly Disney or places like that?
Yes, it's mostly Disney, Universal. A lot of the cruises, the cruising industry has really picked up speed since, the COVID regulations have went down.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the benefit of using a travel agent?
Less hassle on your part. You're able to help, or I'm able to help my clients not have to worry about how am I going to get from this place to this place, or
the little things, the tips and the tricks, not
yes.
tricks, I guess, necessarily.
Especially when it comes to like Disney World, all of the being able to get from, a lot of people worry, how am I going to get to this part when I've got a dining reservation over here? Well, I let them know the best route to take, which rides to do first, which times to get there, if better to do the early park hours, all that.
Okay, that's all saves you a lot of time and probably a lot of money on your vacation. Do you charge for your services?
No, my services are completely free.
Wow.
So I do this because I love doing this.
Wow.
And the price you would pay is the price you would pay if you did it yourself.
Okay.
So it's...
Okay. And that's true with most travel agents,
yes,
too. That is wonderful. Okay. Now, say I come to you and I want to take my family on a vacation. Do you work within a budget?
Most families will give us a budget, and then I try to tailor the vacations, of course, within that budget, and then I'll let them know, hey, that's not really feasible for what you're wanting to do, but how about we do it this way? And I try to make sure it's within what they'd like to spend.
That's great. Everything costs more than it used to. Everything.
Inflation.
Food, everything.
Yes,
I know. But there are still some fun things you can do.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And a lot of free things sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
I'm going to have to write this down when we get through. What are some things close by?
Well, really close by, we have Majestic Caverns, just right down the road. Been there a few times with my family, my daughter. We went last year, and my daughter loved it. She loves going and exploring the caves.
It was DeSoto Caverns.
It was DeSoto Caverns, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's great. Other places, and I would say come see us at the library.
And we do very often.
You do, yeah. The museum, just lots of places.
Yep, the Comer Museum right here. McWane Center in Birmingham is a wonderful place to take your child, especially if they are STEM oriented, sciences, technologies, engineering, mathematics.
Oh, that's great. And I'll put in a plug for the museum here. I joined the museum, or you donate a little, some money, and I'm a member, I guess, really. And so now I have a card. I can get into other select museums around the state. Is that correct? Yeah. And there are other things like that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Museum membership.
Like with McWane Center, if you are a member of the McWane Center, you'll get access to the ASTC catalog.
Okay.
So there are some exemptions, like the other places you have to be 90 miles as the crow flies from your house, and you get free or discounted admission. So like the Space and Rocket Center, you get in one adult, I think 2 children per membership for free if you live outside of those parameters, if you're a member of the McWayne Center. So it's neat to be able to take advantage of those.
It's worth it to join.
Oh, yes,
absolutely. If you like to do those one-day trips or overnight
Absolutely.
trips, there are places in Montgomery, the museum,
In Anniston, there's the Museum of Natural History, I think, and there's a lot of places really close by for just little day adventures.
and state parks.
State parks, yes, ma'am.
They're fun. You can go spend the night camp. I'm not a camper. People
not.
love it. Get me a hotel or something like that. But I know my family, we've done state parks some, and it's just fun. It's a nice place for a family reunion. We've done that before too. So
Right,
there are
yes,
a lot of places close by. That's great. Well, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Kaitlyn.
The Maxie Veazey Senior Adult Activity Center offers the senior citizens in the Sylacauga and surrounding areas lots of fantastic activities throughout the week. Sewing, ladies bridge, quilting, game-o-rama, ceramic classes, bingo, travel club, and lots more. It's all at the Maxie Veazey Senior Adult Activity Center located next to the J. Craig Smith Community Center in Sylacauga. Don't spend any more time alone. Get out, make new friends, and have fun.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Sylacauga's Magic of Marble Festival is coming up April 11th through 22nd. Get ready for the Marble Festival by participating in the Marble Scavenger Hunts. Watch sculptors make breathtaking art daily at Central Park. See the original quarry at Emery's. Take a quarry tour. The Marble Festival is located on North Norton Avenue at Central Park across from Bluebell Creameries. April 11th through April 22nd, downtown Sylacauga, Alabama.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Kaitlyn Walker. She's a magical vacation planner. We're talking about traveling, whether during the summer, spring break, or just a day trip. Before I ask you any more questions, I'm going to share just a few books we have. This is Strange but True Alabama People, Places, and Things. Wacky wonders and strange sights you won't see anywhere else. So if you're into something local, this would be great to come see what there is to see right here in our own state. Then there's the Frommers, I believe this is called, Philadelphia and San Francisco, and there are a lot of other books, a lot of other places. Just some little travel guides, I think, things that we might not know. We have one book called The Grand Canyon. This is upstairs in the children's sections, A Trail Through Time. If you're taking a trip to the Grand Canyon, which you said is wonderful, right? Maybe you want your children to read about it before they go so they'll have a little idea of what's going on. There's this. Then, actually, I use these two books to do programs for school groups. It's The 12 Most Amazing American Cities and The 12 Most Amazing American Natural Wonders. This was fun. I enjoyed doing this. Places I haven't been, a few places I have been, a lot of places I haven't been that I'd like to go see, just to give kids a little bit of a taste of what there is to see out there. Now, I know when I think of travel, most of the time I think, oh, it's just going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. And that's wonderful. Family time together or just time with my husband, things like that. But there are a lot of places you can travel to learn something, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are some of your favorite? I know you've taken your daughter to a lot of places. Where are some good places to go and learn something?
We like to, of course, go to the McWayne Center, to the Space and Rocket Center. We have a trip coming up next month, actually, to the Space and Rocket Center again.
Good.
There's so many places. The Natural History Museum. You can, if you want to go out of the state.
Sure.
Aquariums are nice. We don't. I think there's one in Mobile, a small aquarium, but our closest good aquariums, you could go to Atlanta or you can go to Chattanooga.
Yeah.
There are
Those are fun, really
Yes,
hands-on
because you get
places.
the touch labs where you can touch the lampreys and little nurse sharks.
Yes.
If you want to go a little further off, trips to Williamsburg. Again, I think I saw a book about Philadelphia.
Yes.
Just there's so much history around everywhere, and if you just want to, share that, go into locally Selma. A lot of Alabama history in Selma. So there's.
Well, that's fun, and kids will enjoy it. Even if you are learning something, they're learning it and they don't really realize it, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Where are some good spring break time, and I know sometimes you hear, oh, everything's so crowded at spring break, but everybody has spring break at different weeks.
Times, yes, ma'am.
Ours is this week, some schools are next week. Where are some good spring break vacations?
A lot of people, of course, locally go to the beach.
Yes.
Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Pensacola. I've seen a lot of people this year go like trips up to the Ark in Kentucky.
Yes.
I saw a friend of mine on Facebook, of course. They took their son to the Ark Encounter. Just anywhere during spring break to keep the child enriched, and education is always amazing.
And the adults. I have been to the Ark with just adults, just my husband, and I learned a lot and had a great time. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot to see. The Creation Museum and the Ark.
We're hoping to go this summer ourselves. So.
It's great.
Yes, ma'am.
It was wonderful. And I know when I say you're going to learn some things, a lot of places you can go and learn history. Like you said, Williamsburg, is that right?
Yes, Williamsburg.
A lot of the battlefields and things like that.
There's one near Montgomery, Fort Toulouse is a good.
Yes. All right. Now, I have to tell you, I have traveled with kids before, and not my own kids, but with groups. And traveling with a tour group, is the way to go to me. Your tour guide has handled all the details.
Right, yes,
you
ma'am.
just show up. So you're the person that handles the details.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
And even with tour groups, you get to meet the other people, and sometimes they have stories about places they've been that you can learn from as well. So
Right, that's right. Gosh.
I'm a talker, so I love to talk to everyone around me.
That's great, because most of the places you go, you have been before.
Right,
Maybe
yes, ma'am.
some of the places, so you can tell what there is to see, what there is to do. That's great. What's been your favorite place, or your family's favorite place? Do you have one?
Disney World is probably our go-to.
Of course.
Everybody that knows me says it's our home away from home.
Oh, wow. But that's fun. But you know the ins and outs of what
I
to
do, yes, ma'am. And it's just something that's special to us. So.
And it does change. I know some people say, I've been to Disney World once, that's all I want to go.
No, it changes all the time.
Gosh.
There's a new ride even opening this next month. So that's in soft opening right now.
Wow. But there's different parks, Magic Kingdom, Epcot.
Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, plus 2 water parks and then a shopping district, Disney Springs.
Oh, wow. So there is a lot to see for all ages, right?
All ages, yes, ma'am.
That is great.
Oh, because my husband and I have no problem going, by ourselves to Disney. That was the first time I ever went was as an adult. I was 21, so.
That's great. But it's changed a lot. I think I went when I was 12, so it's changed a lot since then. There's always more things to see. Is there a good time to go when it's not busy? Probably.
It's always busy at Disney. We like to go in September. January, February is always a good time. It varies. Right. And they have dynamic pricing on the tickets now. So, some times are more expensive than others, of course.
Okay.
So
that's the kind of things that
yes,
we don't. So all the more reason to call you. How could somebody get in touch with you?
They can visit my Facebook page, which is Magical Vacation Planner by Kaitlyn Walker, or my cell phone. I always have it with me, or my email address.
Okay. All right. Well, you want to share those?
My phone number is area code 256-267-1912. And then my email address is the letter k.walker@magicalvacationplanner.com.
All right, that's great. What if we want to travel outside the U.S.? I know there's things like passport, star ID, vaccines. Talk a little bit about some of that.
Traveling outside of the U.S., you have depending on the countries, you will need certain vaccines. Like when you go to Africa, for instance, there'll be vaccines you'll have to take care of and medicines you'll have to take before you can go. Passports are required for anywhere outside of the U.S., there's a passport card and a passport book. Passport card lets you travel by water. Passport books you need for air and water travel. The STAR ID is something that the whole United States is having to implement. So it was that you had to have your STAR ID by this May. Well, they have extended that due to the COVID.
Right.
To May the 7th, 2025, everybody needs to have that STAR ID, which will require you to go to your local driver's license, licensing office and provide your citizenship documents.
Right. It wasn't hard. We did.
It wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, it took just a little bit. But cruising,
Yes.
if it's what is called a closed looped cruise, where you start and stop or start and come back to the same point in the United States,
Right. Okay.
you can have your birth certificate and your driver's license,
Okay.
depending on the cruise line. So.
Right, right. I've had to gather all that stuff together. It's not hard. It's good to keep that stuff where you can find it.
Right.
But
And sometimes you lose them.
I know, but there are ways to make it work because we've done it. That's
Yes,
great. So, like we said, the STAR ID is not hard to get. Well, pretty soon, will everyone need a STAR ID if you want to travel?
Everyone will need a STAR ID regardless.
Oh, okay.
Especially like military bases are going to require them to be able to get on a military base.
Okay.
But yes, that's what they're changing to is the STAR ID. So
Oh, okay. Okay. Everyone will have to have it.
Yes, ma'am.
Eventually, right? Okay. What about? I know you talked about vaccines that we have to have and medicines to take, and we're talking about all this stuff. You have to plan ahead if you're going to
Yes,
travel,
ma'am.
like outside.
Visas, all that you have to get are required for entry into certain countries. In addition to that passport,
And some of those things take
time.
take weeks or months. So you just have to plan ahead.
And like passports, for instance, you can pay to have it expedited, but I've seen instances where that expedition process takes, longer than 2 weeks. It can take 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So and the STAR ID, you also will have to have that for air travel domestically in the United States.
in
So
the
that's
United
why
States.
everybody will have to have it.
Okay. Well, good. Well, I understand that. That makes sense. And what about? I know COVID. How did COVID change the way we travel? I mean, we could talk hours on that probably. Do you have to have proof that you have had the vaccine, or
You did at one point, but now you no longer have to provide proof of vaccination for most destinations.
okay?
And don't have to provide negative tests, don't have to test at ports for cruises or anything like that anymore, at the time, for the time being.
Maybe that's just because COVID has died. It's still there.
Oh, it's still
but it's
there.
died down a little bit, and a lot of people have already had the vaccine. Maybe
Yes, ma'am.
that's not as great a risk of spreading
Right,
it.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, good. It's good to know that,
Yes.
all of that. Do you have to wear a mask? Airports, planes, cruises?
Not usually, no ma'am. Again, that's based on your destination. So it's just the best way is to go to the website for wherever you're traveling,
Okay.
or the state Depart Travel, travel.gov is a good resource to figure out what requirements for everywhere.
Travel.gov.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Don't just Google it.
Right, because there's no telling what you might find.
Right, that's true. Wow. Well, that's exciting. We're going to pause for another commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more about travel with Kaitlyn.
The Maxi VZ Senior Adult Activity Center offers the senior citizens in the Sylacauga and surrounding areas lots of fantastic activities throughout the week. Sewing, ladies bridge, quilting, game-o-rama, ceramic classes, bingo, travel club, and lots more. It's all at the Maxi VZ Senior Adult Activity Center located next to the J. Craig Smith Community Center in Sylacauga. Don't spend any more time alone. Get out, make new friends, and have fun.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Sylacauga's Magic of Marble Festival is coming up April 11th through 22nd. Get ready for the Marble Festival by participating in the Marble Scavenger Hunts. Watch sculptors make breathtaking art daily at Central Park. See the original quarry at Emery's. Take a quarry tour. The Marble Festival is located on North Norton Avenue at Central Park across from Bluebell Creameries. April 11th through April 22nd, downtown Sylacauga, Alabama.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Kaitlyn Walker. She's a magical vacation planner and among other things, a mom, a wife, a teacher, a gymnastics coach, all of that. I don't know how you find time to do this, but you love it.
I do, yes ma'am.
Oh, love. And being a travel agent, you get to travel a little bit because I would hope to some places you get to go check it out, maybe what it's like.
Through through the company that I'm independently contract with, yes, they do offer us some familiarization trips where we get the opportunity to go and learn about the destinations. I did one of those recently to Cancun to learn about some new resorts that were opening, and that was a unique experience because I had to travel by myself down there, and then I met the large group that we were with. So,
well, that brings up another topic. How do we travel safely? I'm talking your belongings, your cash, your all of that.
Nowadays, given our environment, you never know what's safe and what's not. So again, checking that travel.gov to see if there are any restrictions to certain or certain countries. If they've raised the risk level of certain countries, it'll all be on those websites for.
There's no place that's risk free.
Right,
I'm sure.
You can go outside and it's not risk free.
Right.
I have started putting the little air tags in my luggage, especially if I'm flying, to where I can make sure that, where my luggage is when I'm not with it. And
what is an air tag?
It's the little Apple discs that you can slide in little places. So for my phone, I can make sure, and then if our baggage gets lost, because, there's always those horror stories when you make it places that, oh no luggage. You can see where it is. And
that is not, I've never heard of that.
So I've started doing that recently. A lot of people will even use them on their children.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
It is not, because I have a friend that, Disney World would kept one on her daughter's belt loop, and just to make sure, because there's so many people everywhere that it's just
so
for
easy.
Peace of mind.
Yeah, especially for a child just to wander, and you wander this way for just 2 or 3 seconds, and you're lost in the crowd.
Yes.
Gosh, wow, that is scary. How do we go about keeping ourselves safe? I mean, I know don't flash money around, things like that. Keep your money in I always use a fanny pack. I know those are old.
No, fanny packs are coming back.
It's right here. They are.
They are coming back. I always I don't like to take a whole lot of cash with me. I do for tips, gratuities for, luggage handlers, that kind of thing. Credit cards are always the safest thing. Check the international fees, that kind of thing for those, just so, if you happen to get into a bad situation, one phone call will allow you to cancel that credit card, and, so.
Because I know thieves are looking for tourists probably.
All the time, everywhere, yes ma'am.
And I'm sure I would stand out as a tourist with my camera, my phone, taking pictures and all that.
That is how they spot us, yes.
That's true. And I know taking your phone, you can't always make phone calls from another country, things like that. What do? Either get an international plan or?
International plans are, most of our carriers offer those. I know I happen to have Verizon, so for most, they have travel pass days.
Okay.
That's what I use when I'm on the cruises. Once we get off the boat at the Bahamas, I can make, calls, text, data, which most of the cruise lines offer Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's
for an additional cost. So
email,
email,
Facebook
text,
Messenger, something like that.
Well, even iMessage now will work on Disney Cruise Line allows you to iMessage. You just can't send pictures, and they let you do that for free.
Oh, that's great. Because if you're gone a week or so, you want to be in touch with family.
Yes, because you never know what might happen.
Right. And I've heard things like don't post photos of your trip while you're there. Wait till you get home. Everybody knows, she's out of the country. So you have to be careful.
I don't get that luxury. My husband gets on me all the time because I'm having to post while I'm down there. But I was like, honey,
It's
That's
your
one of the
job.
risks.
For the rest of us, we don't have to
Yes,
do that.
they always recommend not posting while you're on vacation because, again, that opens the door for someone to say, oh, this person is gone, so let's go and see what she has.
Right. And home security and cameras is a whole other show.
Yes.
We could do it, right. All right. And what about staying well ourselves? I know, not even thinking about COVID, just colds and things that you catch.
Yes, because you can catch anything anytime. On the cruise lines, you always have that fear of the stomach bug.
Oh, yes.
Because we all know in schools and everywhere, once one person gets the stomach bug, everybody gets the stomach bug.
Travels.
So you just have to be wary of your surroundings. Make sure your multivitamins, I'm sure, help.
true.
And then again, certain countries require you to have
The vaccines.
the vaccines and different medicines for malaria and all that as preventative measures.
Good. Well, and I know I didn't put this on the sheet to ask you, but what if you get sick in another country? You just call the hospital. Ask a local. Really.
Always make sure you have travel insurance. Travel insurance will help in those instances. Because can cover transportation from one place to the other. But yes, travel insurance will help tremendously in those cases. If you happen to get sick and end up in the hospital and have to be medevaced somewhere.
Okay, right. We pray that doesn't happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody ever wants that to happen. What is the best time of year to travel? And maybe there's not one, but is there a best
Any
time?
time is the best time of year to travel because those memories you're making will last a lifetime. So now anytime is also anytime. I say anytime because depending on where you want to go is busier than others. So it really depends on where you want to go, what time of the year would be best for you, and what's best for one family may not be best for another family.
That's true. Well, we've got about 30 seconds left, but I just appreciate you being here, Kaitlyn, to talk about I know when you came in to get books with your daughter, you were getting ready to go somewhere, and it was an educational trip. But you talked about just the different places your daughter learned so much. You learn so much better when you see it and touch it.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
So that is so fun.
Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed this.
Well, you are welcome. And if you want to travel somewhere, come get you a book and read about it. If you're taking your kids, especially, get a book. We had that happen several times. People will come in, we're going to the Grand Canyon, I want a Grand Canyon book. So come read about it. Call Kaitlyn or another local travel agent and just have a great time. Thank you for joining me on Library Connection.